Welcome to the Breaking Free from Metabolic Damage video course. In this course, we're going to show you how to overcome weight loss resistance, low thyroid symptoms, and hormonal imbalance for good. And for those of you who have always wondered if you might have a metabolism problem, we're going to show you how to pinpoint metabolism problems and fix them once and for all. By the end of our course, you'll be well on your way to regaining an ideal weight, drastically increasing your energy levels, and taking back control of your body and metabolism. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Jared Larson from Twin Cities Metabolism, and welcome to video 1 of the 3-part metabolism course. We will move quickly into the course, but first I would like to introduce myself and why this course was created. I am a licensed nutritionist with the Minnesota State Board of Dietetics and Nutrition Practice and a certified nutrition specialist. I hold multiple degrees in the field of metabolism and health, including a doctorate in chiropractic studies, a bachelor's degree in exercise science, and a master's degree in human nutrition. But what I feel you should really know is that I have owned and operated a metabolism healthcare facility for 6 years, treating hundreds of patients specializing in metabolism testing, diagnosing metabolic disorders, and helping those with metabolism problems regain their health. This has provided me with unique and uncommon expertise with a common metabolism problem that is being ignored in today's society, going undiagnosed and untreated and causing a tremendous amount of suffering. I created this course because there are too many people out there struggling with their weights, trapped in between diets with no useful help from their medical doctors or trainers or nutritionists. There are answers, there are solutions, and it is my goal to give them to you today. In video 1, we are going to discuss what metabolic damage is, why it happens, how to know if you have it, and why it could be the main reason you cannot lose weight. So without further introduction, let's dive into the course. We've all heard that if you eat less and exercise more, you should lose weight, right? But many of you out there know this doesn't always work. Many people can go on diets, exercise plans, and lose very little or no weight at all. So how and why does this happen? The answer lies in the third commonly overlooked area of the health puzzle. Do you have a healthy metabolism? You see, there are 3 major contributors to a healthy weight and body: the food you eat, the exercise you get, and lastly, metabolism. Now, contrary to what many people believe, metabolism can both be increased or decreased. It is something that can be changed. It is not an entirely genetic thing. Metabolism in its most basic form is how many calories your body burns at rest. High metabolism usually results in a healthy weight, and low metabolism is associated with weight gain. More importantly, metabolism makes up 60% of your calories burned per day. You can see just how important metabolism is for your health and weight loss efforts from this statistic alone. Now, your metabolism is actually a collection of organ systems and hormones that work together. Any one area or system that isn't doing its job will create a problem. I have my patients envision metabolism as many workers working at creating a product on an assembly line. If any one worker isn't fast enough, the whole process is halted and production will be slow or non-existent. Without going into extreme depth on each of these complex hormone systems and how they work, the important point to remember is that all of these organs and hormones work together to create a normal metabolism, and a breakdown in any area will create problems with metabolism. A nice graphic representation here shows how normal metabolism works. Following the arrows, you can see that it flows from top to bottom, each system communicating with one another until a proper response happens at all of our billions of cells at the bottom. If each system is online, we get normal function. Going back to our factory worker example, if everyone on the assembly line is doing their jobs, we make a good product at the end. In the case of metabolism, we get normal energy levels, a normal healthy weight, and complete hormonal balance. So now that we have an understanding of the parts and pieces of normal metabolism, let's talk about how things can go wrong. More specifically, let's talk about metabolic damage. Metabolic damage is a condition identified by weight loss resistance and the presence of other hormone-related symptoms, including fatigue, bloating with meals, low sex drive, food sensitivities, menstrual cycle abnormalities, and a puffy appearance to the body. If you are suffering from metabolic damage, it will be very difficult for you to lose weight without extreme measures, and you will likely have one or more of those mentioned symptoms as well. It is an extremely frustrating condition to have, and many people describe it as though their bodies are just breaking down from the inside out. Now, there are two ways in which you can develop metabolic damage. The first is through chronic yo-yo dieting. If you have a past history of dieting or very high levels of exercise, and now you simply cannot lose weight no matter what you try, this is you. The typical story in this scenario is that somewhere in the past you decided you wanted to lose weight, so you went on a diet and exercise plan and the weight came off fairly easily. After a few months or years, that weight you lost crept back on, so you decided to diet and exercise again, but this time it was more difficult to pull off the weight, so you had to resort to more extreme exercise or a much lower calorie diet. Continuing to repeat this cycle, each time you repeated this cycle, the weight became more difficult to pull off until at some point it has become near impossible to budge. This happens because of a damaged metabolism. Now you could see the weight come off on the scale visually, but what you couldn't see, because we can't see it with our eyes, is that your metabolism was decreasing with each diet and exercise cycle. You were causing damage to your metabolism each diet you attempted. Your metabolism was decreasing each time. It is very common for someone with a damaged metabolism to be eating very little food, exercising, and not losing weight or potentially even gaining weight. That is the first way metabolic damage can develop. The second way you can develop metabolic damage is from a metabolic breakdown that occurs, goes unidentified by your doctor or yourself, and then spreads out to affect all areas of metabolism. As it spreads to other areas, the effects get larger and the symptoms get worse. As you recall, one area of metabolism affects all others. Therefore, when there is a problem in one organ system or hormone level, it will impair the entire metabolism and create full-blown metabolic damage. The most common example of how metabolic damage is created from an undiagnosed underlying condition is a progression of adrenal fatigue. In this scenario, someone is under a significant amount of stress or is potentially burning the candle at both ends. This puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the adrenal glands, and at some point they begin to fail. At this point, the person begins to feel fatigued, starts putting on belly fat and retaining fluid. The adrenal gland failure then starts to send signals to the thyroid that it is under distress. And in turn, the thyroid responds by slowing down as well. This results in even more symptoms, most commonly weight gain, depression, poor hair and nail health, dry skin, and more fatigue. This progression then continues, affecting the sex hormones and the intestines, resulting in menstrual cycle irregularity, low sex drive, food intolerance, and food sensitivities. As the metabolic damage spreads, the symptoms get worse and worse. The important thing to remember is that this is ultimately created by an undiagnosed problem that is allowed to spread. There are multiple other metabolic breakdowns that can start this vicious cycle as well. Infections in the intestines, liver detoxification problems, food sensitivities, hormonal imbalances, and subclinical hypothyroidism can all be the first undiagnosed problem that starts the domino effect to full-blown metabolic damage. Now, whether you developed metabolic damage from chronic dieting and exercise, or if it developed from an underlying metabolism breakdown that spread, the most important thing to know is that this is a correctable hormonal imbalance problem, and you cannot overcome this with diet and exercise alone. You must treat the underlying metabolic problems first, repair your metabolism, and then and only then will you overcome the weight loss resistance, the need to chronically diet, and all the bothersome symptoms that are associated with metabolic damage. In the next video, we will be going over how to overcome metabolic damage and repair your metabolism for good. And for those of you who may have developed the condition from an underlying metabolic breakdown that has gone undiagnosed, we'll show you the necessary tests to pinpoint exactly what is going wrong and creating your problems.